In the ultimate reality, sex is not a bridging of two separate beings, but a raw unveiling of the single boundless reality expressing itself as the lover's bodies, minds, and desires. It's literally the universe making love to itself, consciousness making love to itself through apparent bodies. Because the attraction, emotion, sensation, and release are all appearances of the same undivided awareness, and in this way there is no separate doers of sex, only consciousness dancing within itself. When the sexual act appears to dissolve the illusion of separation, it reveals that there is no you and other, only the singular intimacy of being. The ecstatic dissolution of ego boundaries during an orgasm offers a glimpse at our true nature, that there is only this, only awareness temporarily taking shape of lovers, but never actually divided. Although, if we localize the dissolution of boundaries and the ecstatic joy of being to sexual experiences alone, we mistake it as a state in time that must be sought after again and again, overlooking these qualities as ever present within our very own being. Sexual energy is not just about physical attraction or pleasure. It's the primordial life force of the universe manifesting as intimacy, compassion, and the burning desire for union and expansion. Because it isn't limited to apparent individuals or sexual experiences, it's the energy that pervades the entirety of universal consciousness. So if we chase sexual pleasure and ever increasingly novel or better experiences, we perpetuate pain and dissatisfaction, right? True fulfillment and wholeness and satisfaction lies in recognizing the essential nature of sexual energy as beingness itself. Attraction to the other arises naturally as a play of forms in consciousness. All fantasies, emotions, desires, and experiences are fleeting contents of experience. So when we perceive ourselves as a limited person in need of the other or experiences for gratification or validation, we define ourselves as separate and lacking, therefore manifesting outward representations of that belief. Sex, when sought after in the belief of being a person who needs it for fulfillment, is often hard to find, doesn't last long, or comes with challenges and conflict. Yet, even this seeking and its challenges are themselves perfect expressions of consciousness exploring itself through apparent limitation. When we recognize sexual energy as inseparable from awareness, we are no longer driven by unbridled, unconscious patterns of seeking, compulsion, or avoidance, and we can even let sexual attraction and desire be without needing to act on it. We can simply be with the potent energy, feeling it course through our human body, knowing ourselves as the undisturbed space underneath it and around it. Sexual experiences that manifest naturally as one rests in the inherent fulfillment of their true nature, as this, are expressions of love and wholeness that one realizes themselves to already be. The potency of sexual energy is the drive of the universe to see the other half of its apparent duality collapse. As two become one, it's realized there was never two to begin with. There is only ever consciousness mirroring itself back to itself through a dance of form representing the complete love and non-separateness that already is. Although societal, spiritual, or religious beliefs about sexuality can create feelings of guilt, shame, ambivalence, or believing enlightenment comes after a long path of avoidance and celibacy. So rather than this non-dual recognition diminishing the beauty and intensity of sex or leading to a state of passive desirelessness, it actually heightens it. Without the filters of shame, guilt, or separation, the raw power of sexual energy is honored simply as an expression of life's infinite creativity. That infinite creative energy might express itself through sexual union or be channeled into countless other creations not necessarily labelled as sexual in their nature. We may seek to penetrate space with our rockets, or receive penetration from the world of form by surrendering to its ever-increasing chaos and novelty. So in this way, sex ceases to be a mere transaction or ego desire for gratification, and instead becomes an embodied ritual where consciousness meets itself, undressed of all concepts, surrendered to the flow of existence. And in that naked meeting, we might find what we thought of as the other is none other than the reflection of our true self, celebrating infinite capacity to love and be loved. So what was thought of as purely sexual desire for the other is recognized to be the creative life force of the universe, receiving resolution and release through the birth of not just human babies, but a myriad of other forms beneficial in nature and with beingness as their essence. If we overlook our inherent fulfillment and act from unconscious need and gratification, we compound confusion, lack, potentially manifesting as harm to self and others. When rooted in aware presence, though, sexual expression naturally flows with clarity, care, mutual consent, and benefit for all involved. Whether the physical expression of sexual desire arises on behalf of lack and seeking, or a recognition of the fullness of being, on the surface it can look quite similar. Both look like two people progressing towards and engaging in an experience. However, they can lead to vastly different outcomes, one reinforcing the illusion of separation, and the other being a celebration of its fullness. When the sexual act is engaged in, the mind begins to quieten, and there's this deep intimacy with the dance of form, of sights, sounds, and sensation, and the rigid identity of being a separate person begins to dissolve, revealing a space in open awareness. And within this open awareness, old emotions can naturally arise, even fear, guilt, worthlessness, or abandonment, all manifesting as physical sensations at their core. But whether alone or with a partner, these feelings, if held in the loving space of awareness, can be seen, healed, resolved, and released in the resting, in the recognition of our inherent wholeness. The healing of old wounds, of feelings of wrongness and separateness appear as loving, healing sexual experiences with a partner, or the full acceptance of one's sexuality through conscious solo exploration. Old feelings and frustrations can also be healed through an exploration of abstinence, as one removes the self-soothing distraction from fully feeling that sex or masturbation may have become. And so as the band-aid of sexual gratification is ripped off, the raw wounds can be revealed, and it gives them the chance to be fully attended to, loved, and resolved if approached consciously. But what is right for each individual is not rigid, it's not prescriptive or something to be dogmatically adhered to. Rather, in resting as open awareness, natural conviction dawns about the right path to take in every moment. Sexual experience, like all sensory experience, is made out of nothing other than beingness. The beingness you already are, and so recognizing this reveals deep fulfillment beyond the fleeting pleasures that appear to quickly disappear into the past. When pursued on behalf of lack and seeking, sexual expression involves this need to climax, a sense of frustration if you don't, and a huge emotional and energetic depletion as soon as you do. When it's recognized what you are is what you're already seeking, true intimacy can blossom, free from the chains of expectation and attachment, and the energy is mutually exchanged, and you still feel full of life after, as you recognize you already are life at its fullest. So whether you're practicing sex transmutation or other creative activities, or engaging in sexual pleasures, you remain as non-separate and inherently whole. True intimacy and union with the apparent other is created by the recognition of our non-separateness, already completeness, beingness. As the identification to specific forms of experience dissolve, we truly see the other as ourself. As we release all the old emotions fueling thinking of ourselves as a person with the need for control, gratification, and barriers to love and intimacy, relationships flourish and progress with deepening harmony. On the deepest level, relationships are no longer seen as relationships because it's seen that there was never two to begin with, never two to be related, only infinite consciousness, appearing as two human bodies exploring, healing, and evolving for a season or a lifetime. And that lifetime is always now. Peace.